Good morning, Big Brother fans. It is Tuesday, September 9th, day 64. We have 19 days left in Big Brother 27. And yesterday, the Power Veto meeting was held. Morgan used her Power Veto to save herself. And as expected, Lauren put Keanu on the block in her place. The only person that seemed surprised by that was Keanu. Some reason he talked himself out of the fact that Lauren was going to do that, but do it she did. So, as far as things go, we're kind of in a bit of a flux. I think if Keanu is still on the block come post-blockbuster competition, then he'll probably be voted out because he is seen as a very strong athletic player. Versus Ashley or versus Will, he will probably be taken out. He's also been known to just stick to his guns, be immovable, all those things. So it wouldn't be a shock to see him get voted out, which would be kind of ironic to see Keanu go right behind Rachel, because one of his plans all along was for somebody else to take out Rachel because he knew that she would then vote for him. But if he ain't there to be voted for, then yeah, that's how that's working out. If it is Ashley versus Will, that's where things, at least for now, aren't quite as locked in. But again, we're at Tuesday, show's on Thursday, a lot can happen. And remember, Will has a bum leg that he hurt playing the Power Veto competition. So, I don't know. I don't think Will's quitting. He was talking yesterday about trying to, get into top 5, and top 5 is where you the little extra bonus levels start to kick in. They did this a few years ago where they started giving extra bonus for getting higher up in the jury because people were just like, I just make jury and I get paid the same amount whether I get 7th place whether I get 9th place or 3rd place, I get paid the same amount of money because they can just get their stipends plus any other prizes they've already won. So the idea is, well, if I make it to at least 5th, then there's a bonus money tossed in. We're talking on the order of, I think it's an extra $5,000 if you make 5th place, and then it goes up from there. And remember, 2nd place, is 2nd place $100,000 now? Now I don't remember. Or if it's still 50, I think it might be 100, but either way, you get the idea. So, Ashley versus Will. Again, what led me down that rabbit hole was talking about the fact that Will seems to be still interested in continuing on. And Ashley seems convinced that she's going to get voted out if she doesn't win the blockbuster. At least that's what she says out loud. Now, what she says out loud and what she's truly thinking, I don't know if she's addressed the cameras directly recently, but what we've heard, I think, has been mostly her talking to other people. So, I do believe that some see her as a stronger debater than Will. Better at comps, obviously, because Will's hobbled at the moment, so physically she's going to be better. And so I know that Morgan last night was pushing very hard to take out Ashley over Will. Wait, am I right now? Or she wanted to take out Will over Ashley. Oh, wow, I'm having a moment. Now I flip-flop. Doesn't matter. We're 2 days away. We're okay. We'll lock this down more later. Point is, it's still a little bit up in the air. And I can't say for sure who's going right now between Ashley and Will. I would have expected Ashley to go, if you asked me, partly because Will is injured. And Will hasn't won anything, right? Not that Ashley's won a lot. But neither of them are seen as super strong competitors. But when it comes to the physical part, Will is definitely now handicapped. So that's where we're at, folks. I hate to say it's just not very exciting, but it's just not very exciting. It's this time of year. I'd have to go back to look and see who was left in last season, but generally it just slows down dramatically at this point. And we'll see tonight's show. On tonight's show, we will see what went on in this competition that got Rachel eliminated. And it'll be interesting to see how they've edited it, because I suspect that there's being some heavy editing done to try to tell the story in a certain way to make maybe them not seem quite as I don't want to say as bad, but not quite as I don't know how they're gonna save it with the edit. I asked, I thought, did Julie perhaps talk to Rachel when she was evicted? And the consensus is no. Among other reasons, because it got out so late, because the competition finished so late. But I would have said in past seasons, Julie would have waited around if she wanted to do the interview with the evicted, or if the intent was to have them do an interview with the person. But that, yeah. I guess they don't want to have Julie do an interview in an empty studio, and they're not going to keep the studio folks around until 3 or 4 in the morning or whatever time it was. But so, yeah, it's going to be weird when she walks out. They did say that the house guests, talking amongst themselves, did say that Rachel handled it very well, that the other house guests were more upset, at least outwardly, than Rachel was, that she was calming other people down. So we'll see, though. Chances are we'll see Rachel in the diary room, probably upset, showing a little bit more of her true emotions at her disappointment on the way things went. I'm going to guess she's going to, in some ways, blame herself for not completing the competition, because that has been one of her nagging issues this season, was the fact that she just isn't able to compete like she has in the past. She's used to dominating, and she wasn't able to dominate this season. And once again, she didn't do as well as she should have. And so we'll see what it shows on tonight's episode. So that's where we're at. I've got nothing more. It's the way the season's going to go now. We're going to wind down. We're going to have less time of me running on, because there's just not much going on other than the house guests talking and in circles. And yes, the biggest talk of the day is probably still the Vince Morgan thing. And they had lots of discussions last night about their relationship, and Morgan saying they're getting lots of questions in the diary room, so they're sensitive to it now. And they're just like, I don't understand. We're not doing anything. They don't see the long hugs. They don't see the amount of time the two of them are spending together. And Vince doesn't seem to comprehend how jealous Morgan appears to be of any time Vince spends time with Lauren, even though she would argue that it's because that's more game time that she's spending with them. It's still perceived by the fandom as more than that. And perhaps it is more than that, right? It's just we'll never really know. But I just don't want to care what happens after the season. I don't want to be like, oh, guess what? Like the whole way people had just followed Tucker and Rubina after that season. I mean, I literally had people messaging me when I was at the premiere party asking me how the two of them were interacting. So it's like, yeah. I don't really care. I didn't care then, even that at that point. It was like, it doesn't matter. They're there. They're existing. They're fine. Let's not look too deep into it. So that's how I am. I don't wish anybody ill will. So yeah. All right. Enough of that. Went down a useless rabbit hole right there. You guys have a good Tuesday, and we'll talk to you tomorrow, when I'll probably have not a ton more information about what's going on, because nothing will have changed. I guess I'll have lots of thoughts on tonight's episode. And we're going to have 3 nights in a row of TV, by the way. Big Brother is on tonight, tomorrow night, and Thursday night. So 3 nights in a row of Big Brother. We'll talk about it, figure out what happened on tonight's show tomorrow, and I'm sure I'll have lots of thoughts. Be well, everybody. Thanks for listening. Take care. Bye-bye.